And we start with our big story of the day, a video that is causing outrage for so many. A crowd of teenagers surrounding a Native American elder and other activists as one smirking high school student blocks the elder's path. It happened on Friday during the Indigenous Peoples March at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Nathan Phillips says he stepped in the middle of the crowd with his drum after the teens allegedly got into a confrontation with another group.
When I started going forward and that massive groups of people started separating and moving aside to allow me to move out of the way or to proceed, this young fella put himself in front of me and wouldn't move. And so I could, if I took another step, I would be putting my person into his presence, into his space. And I would have touched him, and that would have been the thing that the group of people would have needed to spring on me.
Wow. Joining me now, Martin Luther King III, the oldest son of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to ask you right off the bat, listen, the scene here on the same steps in 1963 looked a whole lot different, but there were some similarities. Am I right?
Well, maybe the similarity perhaps is that people are demonstrating. And what is very sad about this situation is young people who were there to protest for the right to life or for life were denigrating someone else and their rights. So it's a great deal of hypocrisy. And while we have the freedom to do things in America, we should not mistreat anyone in relationship for the things that they believe, particularly when people are talking about bringing this country together. And the fact of the matter is, these are the indigenous persons, some would say Indians, Native Americans, First Nations communities. And so I think we're at a critical juncture beyond reproach. And to me, this seems like something that the president needs to step in and say something about.
You talked about the hypocrisy. Obviously, there's a couple themes of hypocrisy in this video. You also said the word critical juncture. My question to you is, what would you say to these teens if you could talk to them? What would you say to them about that critical juncture? Well,
first of all, if you're willing to listen, my dad used to teach us we can disagree without being disagreeable. So the first thing is they need a history lesson to understand that we all have the right to protest for the things that we believe in. And the right way to protest is not to confront someone else with hostility and a hostile tone and be disrespectful. The other thing is, this gentleman was an elder. I mean, at one time we used to hold our elders in the highest respect. Somehow we've got to go back to those kind of things as well. But education is where it starts.
Coming up in the next half hour, I'll have more of my conversation with Mr. King, including what his father might think about the encounter on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. All right, let's continue with our top story today. A video of a now viral stare-down between a Native American elder and a high school student is really drawing a lot of criticism. The young man and the group behind him are said to be students from Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky. The Covington Diocese offered its apologies to the elder and all Native Americans and said the students could be punished. Earlier, I spoke with Martin Luther King III to get his take on the situation. Here's more of that conversation. You talked about a history lesson, but history can repeat itself. Am I right? And is there a silver lining in all this? Because we're talking about it. In fact, just about everyone's talking about this video today.
Well, yes, but I'm saying obviously, you know, one of the questions I want to know is where were those who were supposed to be chaperoning these young people? I didn't see them. I couldn't tell from the video. But I would wonder where were they, because it would seem like reasonable people do reasonable things. So adults should have stepped in as well so that this kind of confrontation would not have occurred.
You see a lot of red in this. You see a lot of the MAGA hats. The emblem is Make America Great Again. In some ways, Your father and the generations, obviously Dr. Martin Luther King himself, was trying to do just that. What would he say if he saw this?
Well, you know, I don't think anybody can say what he would say, even I as his son, but certainly he and my mother, who often dedicated their lives to the eradication of poverty, racism, militarism, and violence. I'm sure that they would be greatly disappointed in this behavior and challenge Americans to do better and be better. We are much better than the behavior that we see exhibited from time to time in incidents like this.
We've seen the school come out and say that there could be punishment, there could be consequences. Do you want to see that?
I think there should be some responsible consequences. What those should be, I don't have specifics right now, but certainly one of the things I would say, again, it goes to an orientation and an education and how you treat your fellow human beings. I mean, we all live in this nation, and in this context, these are individuals. This individual was here before any, in his community before any of us. They were the original people as it relates to this nation.
Well said. Martin Luther King III, thank you. Let's continue the conversation, and maybe we can make a change. Thank you, sir. New Mexico Congresswoman Deb Haaland chiming in with this tweet. She says the students' display of blatant hate, disrespect, and intolerance is a signal of how common decency has decayed under this administration. The president nor anyone from his administration has commented publicly on this video.
There are over 8,500 videos on this one Mox News YouTube page. It takes a great deal of time and effort to make that happen. And I don't have plans and schemes. And I don't have hopes and dreams. I don't have anything if I don't have you. And I don't have love to share. And I don't have ones who care. I don't have anything if I don't have you. You, 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 you,